Hi, I'm Anita Srinivasan. Now we see some two more questions with the answers in the subject digital electronics. The first question, define binary logic. The binary logic consists of binary variables and then logical operations. The variables are A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, etc. And then the basic logic operations are AND, OR, and NOT gate. And we have the second question is the digital logic gates. There are the three basic logic gates. One is AND gate, OR gate, and NOT gate. And third one, what is logic gate? The logic gates are the basic elements that make up a digital system. The electronic gate is a circuit that is able to operate on a number of binary inputs in order to perform a particular logic functions. And the fourth question, which gates are called as a universal gate and what is its advantages? The NAND and NOR gate are called as a universal gate and the advantages this is used to perform any type of logic application. The fifth question, classify the logic family by operation. The answer is the bipolar logic family is classified into saturated logic and unsaturated logic. The saturated is again divided into RTL, DTL, TTL, LL and HTL. The unsaturated is classified into the Schottky TTL and ECL. The sixth question. State the classification of FET devices. FET is determined as the field effect transistor and it is classified into two types. First one is a junction field effect transistor and the second one is a metal oxide semiconductor family. The seventh question. Mention the classification of saturated bipolar logic families. The bipolar logic family is classified as RTL, that is resistor transistor logic, and DTL, diode transistor logic, ITL, that is integrated injection logic, and next one TTL, transistor logic. The last one is the ECL, emitter coupled logic. Eighth question. Mention the important characteristics of digital ICs. Fan out, power dissipation, propagation delay, noise margin, fan in, operating temperature, and the power supply requirements. Ninth question. Define fan out. Fan out specifies the number of standard loads that the output of the gate can drive without impairment of its normal operation. The 20th question, define the power dissipation. Power dissipation is measure of power consumed by the gate when fully driven by all its inputs. Next question, what is propagation delay? Propagation delay is the average transition delay time for the signal to propagate from input to output when the signals change in value. It is expressed in nanoseconds. And 12th question, define noise margin. The noise margin is the maximum noise voltage added to an input signal of a digital circuit that does not cause an undesirable change in the circuit output and it is expressed in the ohms. The next question, define fan-in. Fan-in is the number of inputs connected to the gate without any degradation in the voltage level. The 14th question, what is operating temperature? The answer is all the gates or semiconductor devices of temperature insensitive in nature. The temperature in which the performance of the ICs is effective is called as operating temperature and it is vary from 0 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. The 15th question, what is high threshold logic? The answer is some digital circuits operates in environments which produce very high noise signal. For operation in such surroundings, there is available a type of DTL gate which possesses a high threshold to noise immunity. This type of gate is called HTL logic, that is high threshold logic. There is Next question, different types of TTL. The first one is a open collector output, totem pole output, and last one tri-state output. The next question, what is depletion mode operation MOS? The answer is if the channel is initially doped lightly with p-type impurity, a conducting channel exists a zero gate voltage and the device is said to be operate in depletion mode. The next question, what is enhancement mode operation of MOSFET? If the region at the gate is left initially uncharged, the gate field must induce a channel before current can flow. Thus, the gate voltage enhances the channel current and such a device is said to be operate in the enhancement mode. The 19th question, mention the characteristics of MOS transistor. The first one is N-channel MOS conduct when its gate to source voltage is positive. And next one, the P-channel MOS conducts when the gate to source voltage is negative. The last one, either type of device is turned off if the gate to source voltage is 0. 20th question, how the Schottky transistors are formed and states its use. A Schottky diode is formed by the combination of metal and semiconductor. The presence of Schottky diode between the base and the collector prevents the transistor from going into the saturation. The resulting transistor is called as Schottky transistor. The use of this is TTL decrease the propagation delay without a sacrifice of power dissipation. And then 21st question, list the different version of TTL. That is the standard TTL, low power TTL, high speed TTL, Schottky TTL and low power Schottky TTL. The 22nd question, why totem pole outputs cannot be connected together? The answer is the totem pole outputs cannot be connected together because such a connection might produce excessive current and may result in damage to the device. 23rd question, advantages and disadvantages of TTL. The advantage is easily compatible with other ICs and low output impedance. The disadvantage of TTL is wired output capability is possible only with tri-state and open collector types. And the special circuits in circuit layout and system designs are required. 24th question, when does the noise margin allow digital circuits to function properly? The noise margins are within the limits of I-state noise margin and the particular logic family in between these states it allows. The 25th question, what happens to output when a tri-state circuit is selected for high impedance? Output is disconnected from rest of the circuits by internal circuit. 26th question, define combinational logic. The answer, when logic gates are connected together to produce a specified output for certain specified combinations of input variables with no storage involved, the resulting circuit is called combinational logic. 27th question, explain the design procedure for combinational circuits. First, we have to define the problem. So that is a problem definition. The next one, determine the number of available input variables and required output variables. Next one, assigning the letter symbols to input and output variables. Obtain the simplified Boolean expression for each output network. And last, obtain the logic diagram. 28th question, define off adder and full adder. The logic circuits that performs the addition of 2 bits is called off adder. The circuits that performs the addition of 3 bits is a full adder. 29th question. Define decoder. Answer is, a decoder is a multiple input with a multiple output logic circuits that converts coded inputs into the coded outputs where the input and output codes are different. 30th question. What is binary decoder? A decoder is a combinational circuit that converts binary information from n input lines to a maximum of 2 to the power of n output lines. 31st question. Define encoder. The encoder has the 2 to the power of n input lines and n output lines. In encoder, the output lines generate the binary code corresponding to the input code. 32. What is the priority encoder? The priority encoder is an encoder circuit that includes the priority function. In priority encoder, if two or more inputs are equal to 1 at the same time, the input having the highest priority will take precedence. 33rd, find the multiplexer. Multiplexer is a digital switch. It allows digital information from several sources to be routed onto a single output. 34th question. What do you mean by comparator? The comparator is a special combinational circuit designed primarily to compare the relative magnitude of two binary numbers. The balance questions we will see in the next video. Thank you.